Weird people are way more likely to be successful than anyone else, hands down. And you know, it's kind of funny because when I was a kid, I was a weird kid. Actually, I'm still weird. What am I talking about? Like, I got an acupuncture doll that looks at me as I sleep. But in all honesty, I was weird. I'm still weird. Like, as a kid, I literally read books on witchcraft and Wicca and paganism. You know, one year at Christmas, I had my grandpa order me this gift I really wanted on from a crystal site, but it was like a pagan, neo-pagan website. My God, my family and extended family could not stop talking about it. Like this little 16-year-old boy studying witchcraft. And you know, it's funny though, as a kid, I used to be super embarrassed by this stuff, but later I realized that being weird is the secret to success. Hey guys, I'm Alex Hine, author of the book Master the Day. Now, the first thing about being weird is that weird people don't care what anyone else thinks. You know, it's funny, when they do inventories on some of the most successful people in the world, and they try to study this one trait, but it's the trait where you're not afraid of hurting someone else's feelings if it means you're living your truth, as long as you're not a pedophile or psychopath or something. But basically it means that you will go after what you believe to be true, regardless of what mommy or daddy thinks, your sister, your brother, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, society, whoever. And weird people, I mean, listen, as a kid, I was so weird that I was ostracized, so I didn't have a lot of friends. And when I was young, it bothered me not having a lot of friends, okay? But as I got to be older and I didn't need a lot of people, because I was used to being alone basically, when I got older, like older than 25, and I was in the real world and a lot of that weird stuff goes away, or people judge you less. It was funny because, you know, as a kid, it really bothered me, but as an adult, you realize how much of society gets you to do crap you hate because of peer pressure and the fear of missing out. Now, it's funny though, because when you don't fit in already and you don't have a lot of friends, what's the one thing that will not work on you? Peer pressure, right? Because if you haven't fit in before, and the worst case scenario if you say no to everybody is you don't fit in, then you don't really care. And you do whatever you like, and which means you're always going to be happy, you're always going to have fun. You look at most of the icons of history, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musks, the Nikola Tesla, the Albert Einsteins, they just did what they wanted, and they didn't care about convention and fitting in. And in fact, I would argue most of the innovators of human history don't care about fitting in or doing what's right. They do whatever their own truth is. The second trait I see a lot is that weird people are content being themselves. The irony is that when you accept yourself for whatever you are or whatever weird stuff you're into, whether that's troll dolls or running around the streets in a Speedo in the middle of winter, whatever you define as weird and you, the irony is that when you like yourself, everyone else likes you too. You know, it's so funny, it's so interesting, the parallels from childhood to adulthood. As a kid, fitting in, playing it safe, being the jock or being the pretty girl or being the good student, when you're conventional, that's how you make friends. Ironically, that's what attracts people to you when you're young. But the funny thing is, as an adult, it's the exact opposite. It's the person that's the trailblazer, the leader, that does whatever the hell they want, and they don't care if they eat alone or they go on this expedition to Antarctica. Those are the cool people. It's really, really, really weird because as kids, we're very fragile. We don't have the self-esteem to think, you know what? I think what I'm doing is so badass that I don't really care if you like it or not or agree with it. So as kids, we just play it safe, right? We dress like everyone else. We act like everyone else. We don't want to be too weird. The goth kids and the little girls into Wicca and witchcraft, they're the weirdos, right? As an adult, when you're doing your thing and it's different, you get to be an adult and everyone is so vanilla. It's so whitewashed. You get the good job. You get the picket fence. You get to be just like what everyone else is. You wear the same suit. You wear the same clothes. You go to the same desk. You do the same role every day. You're just vanilla like everybody else. So when you're weird and you're just being yourself, you're Rocky Road in the world of vanilla. The third thing is that extremely weird people think differently and thus innovate. Who the hell would be like, you know what? I'm going to send rockets to Mars and I'm going to self-fund it. Every smart person from NASA to Neil deGrasse Tyson has said, no one will ever self-fund these expeditions to Mars. And yet, Elon Musk just punched them all in the face. So the thing is, when you don't care about convention, you don't care about fitting in, you don't care about being liked or being popular, you care about pursuing whatever excites you the most, that is what leads to innovation, right? Because if you're if you're too afraid to be yourself, too afraid to think differently, too afraid to try to innovate on how it's always been done, to do more or differently than how it's always been done, if you're too afraid, you're not going to try any of that. You look at any innovator in history, from technology, the people who started sending wireless messages through the air with the telephone, even look at Wi-Fi. The early physicians that proposed germ theory, these people were ridiculed and ousted from the medical profession. Everyone that has been an innovator has been ousted, is called a quack, is perceived as crazy. And the irony is, the faster you get comfortable with being crazy, the faster you are going to win at life. And ironically, those same people that say you're crazy, 20 years later, guess who's knocking on your front door asking for your advice? It's always those same people. Now, the last trait of why weird people will change the world is that they are content being themselves. It's almost like the exact opposite of what people joke about in LA, where everyone is trying so hard to fit in, so hard to be popular, so hard to be famous for nothing. Not because you're amazing at what you do as a physician, not because you're an amazing parachute jumper or skydiver, not because you've done something amazing, but being famous for nothing. Liked for adding zero value to your own life and to the world. When you're weird and you're just content being yourself, you don't have the anxieties and neuroses of a person that tries so hard to fit in. It's like the person that shows up and they're the least successful person in the room. And they're always like, hey dude, here's my business card. Here's my business card. And they're trying to prove so hard what they've done. Every little achievement they have to share. Every little cool thing they have to volunteer. And the trying so hard is so painful to endure. It's such a painful conversation to have. You just want to get away from it. When you're yourself, you're on the path you love, you don't care about fitting in, you don't have that anxiety. Because you don't care if Bill Gates or a homeless man responds to your dreams positively or negatively. You don't care if your dream person responds to them, however, wherever on the spectrum. You don't have that neurotic personality where you're so fragile and offended and special snowflake, because it's just you, and you've accepted you. And I think the most important thing is, if you accept you, if there's that internal calm, that is a palpable sensation people will feel. And that is something that not too many people have, that kind of inner calm of knowing themselves and knowing that they are on the path that they want to be on. So, before you go, I want you to comment there below, and you let me know what makes you weird. What's up, weirdos? It's Alex Hine. Now, I hope you liked this video. The best way to stay in touch is either to join the Patreon community where I'm doing live Q&As. I've got a whole bunch of cool perks. And also, I've started my future Chinese medicine video channel as well, my future Dr. Alex channel. So you can click that there to get notified, because it's very different content that you will not see here. And I'm going to build them both side to side and see what happens.